Hey there, this is Aaron, founder of Regression Games, and today I'm going to be showing you how to get automated UI testing in Unity driven by LLMs in just a few minutes and with no code. And so, yeah, we'll just get started here. So the very first thing is we're going to start with any Unity project. Here we're using a sample called Boss Room. A link to this and everything else I'll be talking about will be in the comments of this video. And so, yeah, we're going to start with this scene. We're going to open up our main menu scene where our main canvas is that has all of our UI and our buttons. And so I'm going to start off by first adding our package to Unity. In order to get to there, you're going to go to Window, Package Manager, and then you're going to add a new package from a Git URL. Before we do that, we're going to go and copy the Git URL for our package. You can find this on GitHub or within our documentation. So I'll go copy this. All right, and then we're going to go and add from Git URL, paste that in. Let's give this a few seconds to download. All right, so it's downloaded, it's added to our project. And now what we're going to do, once it finishes compiling, is we're going to just add a few different game objects to our scene. These game objects will be used to actually go and do the automation that we're looking for. It's going to go and find UI elements in the scene and then give our system the capability to go and click through those UI elements. All right, so I'm going to right-click on our scene here. I'm going to go to Game Object, and then you'll notice this new Regression Games menu. We're going to add an automation controller, which controls how all of our automation is done. And we're also going to go and add a UI element discoverer, which is inside the discovery submenu. That'll add it directly to the automation controller. And then finally, we're going to add a UI overlay, which will give us the ability to actually go and start these UI automation bots. Right, and then we're also going to go and bring this overlay over to the top of this scene. This is to make sure that it's over the rest of our user interface. And then we're going to click play. Now we can actually start running this bot. When you load up the scene, you'll notice that there's now a Regression Games icon down in the bottom right. You can click this and you'll see the overlay to start your bots. You'll notice that there's a monkey bot in here. This bot will basically go through the entire UI and just click random buttons and random UI elements. And collect information as it's doing so. So we'll start that bot. And we'll see that this bot will now start clicking through the different menus within our game. And whatever you're done, whatever you're satisfied with, like the results that it's collecting, you can go and just click the menu again and click stop on the bot. And then I can stop my game. And finally, I can then go and click on Automation Controller and see all the different recordings. All right, so here's the most recent session. I'm going to double click it. It's a zip file. And you'll notice inside of here that we have all the different screenshots from our game, as well as a bunch of JSON files which have the state of the game at that moment in time. So it has all the UI elements that it saw, all the different enabled buttons and disabled buttons, pretty much any UI information that you want to get from the game at that moment in time during your test. And yeah, so this could be used for basically going through and automating UI tests, going and collecting screenshots for user interface automatically. But of course, randomly clicking is nice as a first pass, but really you want to have this bot go and go through a certain sequence of steps. So one thing that we went and added was an LLM bot that can go and try to navigate through UI given some goal. We're going to go and add a new bot that's driven by an LLM such as GPT-4 in this case. So within our assets folder, I'm going to create a new folder. And we'll call this automation just to make sure we have everything in one spot. The very first thing I need to do is I need to add my OpenAI credentials to the project. Note that for now, this does save it as plain text within your project, the API key that we're going to be saving. And so just be careful with that, and you probably don't want to check that into your version control. But if you go into your folder, you're going to right-click to get to the menu. You're going to go to Create, and then you're going to click on Regression Games, which is kind of near the very top. You'll see this OpenAI credentials option. So when you click that, you'll notice that you have the option to add your API key and organization ID. In order to grab this, you're going to go to your OpenAI account. And I'll obviously skip through this so you don't see my credentials, but you're going to go to API keys to grab an API key. And then if you click on your settings, you'll see the organization ID that you'll want to put in there. All right, so I went and added those credentials to that asset. And now the last step here is to create a prefab, which basically defines our GPT-4 bot. And so I'm going to right-click in this folder, go to Create, and then we're going to go to prefab. So we're going to create a prefab here. We're going to call this GPT bot. Now you'll click add component, and you're going to search for GPT, and you'll see this GPT assistant component. And you'll notice a few different options here for configuring how this GPT bot will work. And for us, we're going to be changing two things. One is the OpenAI credentials. So you're going to go and drag and drop that asset that you just created with those credentials in it into that property. And this model that we're using, the GPT-4 1106 preview, that's the GPT-4 turbo bot. So we'll keep that as is. And the final step is to add a goal. And this goal is essentially the goal that will be driving the LLM through your user interface. So if you go to our documentation, you'll see a page here about using the GPT assistant bot. And near the bottom, we have some instructions on how to write a good goal. So you can go check that out if you want to learn more about how to write a good goal for the bot to navigate through your user interface. But for us, we're going to be using one that we have predefined here. So let's go and copy this. And basically our goal is for the bot to reach the boss room scene by hosting a game using the current IP address and then selecting any character class. So this boss room sample, it's a multiplayer game. You queue up for a game after selecting a character. We want to go and do that. You can also change the configuration for the prompt here. This is like the system prompt that we're using to really drive the LLM fully. And so you can go mess with that a little bit if you want to experiment as well. And then the final step actually is to just add this to our UI overlay. The UI overlay has the set of all the bots here. And so here at the very bottom, you'll see available bots. And you'll notice that we can add an element to this list of available bots. And we're going to drag in the GPT-4 bot. All right, and that's pretty much it. Now I can save my scene and click play. All right, and when the game starts, we're going to go back to our regression games overlay. And we have the GPT bot selected here, and we're going to click Start Bot. And now it's going to do its best effort to kind of go through that user interface and navigate towards that game hosting screen and eventually the character selection screen. And note that, because this is an LLM, there's a lot of state information coming in here. It's not always going to be perfect. It's going to do its best effort to kind of reach that screen. And so definitely feel free to modify your goal and that system prompt to get a result that's satisfactory for you. All right, we see that's in the character selection screen. And then hopefully after it selects a character, it'll click ready. There we go. Now we're into the game and it reached its goal of reaching the main scene. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to show for this video. If you have any suggestions or feedback or requests for features you want to see, for instance, maybe you want to use local llama models. Maybe you want to collect different information from the user interface, or maybe performance or memory information. Maybe you want to collect different UI elements when it's going through the scene. Just let us know in the feedback form or the Discord, both of which will be linked in the description of this video. Then also make sure to check out our documentation and our website, regression.gg.